scenario?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I think that's organizational mentoring. When you take a whole group of new intakes, for instance, you're going to mentor them because they're coming into, so let's say you've chosen a profession like a banking profession, for instance. Because you've been a seasoned banker, you're going to mentor those new intakes all the way, share all your experiences, tell them the kind of things that challenges they may go through or they may experience, you know, because of that. And at the end of the day, you're going to mentor them to get to probably where you are or to at least reach a high goal in life. And I would say at this point in time, to be a mentor, you could be a volunteer. You don't need experience. But to be a coach, you really need to be trained.
Okay, I wanted to ask a question. There are those who say, for you to be a mentor, there has to be a request. Either way. But as a coach, you don't really need to have a request, so to speak.
You know, as a coach, coaches are paid. Mentors are volunteers.
Okay.
So it's easier to find a coach because you're ready to pay for the service than it is to find a mentor. You literally have to walk up. So I've walked up to someone to ask them if they could mentor me before a while ago, and she was very honest and said she really didn't have the time. At that point, you know, she was going through a lot of things at work. She had a lot of mentors already, and she didn't have the time. But you could actually pay for me to be her mentee. She needed to have the time for me. And she was honest enough to say she didn't have the time. But if I want to be a mentor to someone, I have to fix that in my schedule of, you know, my weekly schedule. And sometimes you really have to create the time and be dedicated to that at the same time. And like I said, a coach usually is somebody who's qualified and who's trained and qualified and certified. A mentor doesn't need to be qualified or trained. They're just going to go through their own experience. But, you know, you ask them, what do I gain by being a mentor anyway? Of course, I said, if you want to add value to someone else's life, be a mentor. Because, again, it helps you with your communication skills. The lady in Vietnam enjoys sessions with me because she doesn't have the opportunity to speak English to other people. So when she's talking to me, she feels that with me, she's improving her English. So she's gaining communication skills.
As well
she's
as
gaining
other things.
Yes, so she's as well as other things, you know. But as a mentor, again, communication skills I gain, leadership skills I gain, a bit of self-satisfaction, you know, I also gain, and also new knowledge because you're speaking to different people, right? As a mentee, that valuable advice, or invaluable to say, so to say, that's what they're definitely going to get. They're going to also get your wealth of experience, you know, so that they don't make mistakes like you probably might have done. And it's also good for networking. As a mentee, you're going to help, you're going to network more with people because your mentee is likely going to tell you, join this club, join that club, and help you, you know, either way. But I want to say one thing that is very important about mentoring. If you're a mentee, don't take your mentor for granted. It's not a case whereby you're going to ask them for money or you're going to ask them to do what they should not do. You know what I'm saying? You mustn't take your mentor for granted. It's not a case of laying all your whole life on the table and say, please, I need your assistance and all of that. You have to, there's mutual respect there, and it should really be professional, all right? At that point in time, too, you have to respect the mentor's time. If you've agreed at a certain time, you can't just say, oh, you know, you can't impose on them. And if you've agreed 1 hour for a session at a certain time, a certain date, ensure that you make sure that you respect the time of the mentor. Mentoring is not for everybody, to be honest. You really have to have the time of the day. But at the same time, you can definitely be a coach and a mentor at the same time because you're adding value to someone else. But I would say with coaching, which is different, your mentee is accountable. If you say on Friday, I'm going to do something, you have to report back to your coach to say, I did it. And if you didn't do it, the coach has to ask you, why didn't you do it? What were the challenges that you faced? But at the end of the day, I think both counseling, or both positions, as a coach and a mentor, is something that everyone should be able to give back, you know, to society. If you see a group of young people that you think you can impact, mentoring is really good because it's beneficial both ways, to be honest. And I think everyone should at least look out to mentor someone else. Sometimes it's difficult for you to walk up to someone and say, can you mentor me? But, you know, indirectly you can mentor by asking, how are you doing today? You know, How did you go with that project? How was that assignment? And little things like that, little questions. You never know where you can impact someone.
So where those people that have been supposedly mentoring people and haven't had time for them should actually be apologizing, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you know you are a mentor and you haven't had time, because sometimes mentees complain that their mentors are not available.
Yep.
You don't take it out on the mentor, but anytime you have time with your mentor, make use of that time in a very valuable way.
Yeah, so the mentee should also learn to appreciate that this thing is voluntary. So it's when they have time that you will take the time.
Absolutely, yes. You know. Yes, because sometimes you can schedule appointments, and because the person has to travel out or the person has something more important to engage in, you have to respect the fact that you can, there's always an agreement that, look, we can always change the time. It's not cast in concrete. But guess what? With coaching, you're going to lose your money. You're going to lose your money if you don't keep to your appointment.
Okay, so what happened? How do you react when the mentee is always going like, you abandoned me every time? Nagging mentee.
This is another very important thing about mentoring. Hardly would you get a young person mentoring an older person. It's usually vice versa, right? So you also need to remember, as a mentor, that this, maybe the person's from the millennial generation. You have to understand the generational gap, all right, and what they like and what they don't like. So most times, people don't like writing anymore. It's a Skype thing. They, you know, we wanted everything online. So you have to begin to judge. With mentoring, there's a matching, there's a pairing thing. Can these two join each other together? Is there chemistry between the two? You don't just pick somebody from the street and say, I want to mentor that person. There has to be some element of chemistry so that that person understands you and your position and vice versa. So the mentee understands the mentor's busy schedule, and if they can't make it, they will understand, and vice versa.
See why I picked Olajumoke off the street, and they seem to be doing okay.
Yeah, because there's you know, the truth is, it's up to you as a mentor. You know, you look at the person and then you say, well, I think I can mentor you because we share common grounds.
All right, then. Janet Adetu, Etiquette coach, thank you very much for coming. And we look forward to seeing you next week with another interesting topic.
Thank you very much.
All right. Sunrise will be right back with another, with the home stretch. That's the part my partner likes the best.